guys, this is Jam of JamOnline.ph. I'm really excited for the gaming review of this one. So this is the ASUS ROG Phone 3. So yeah, you can see here the ASUS ROG Phone 3. We got here the case, of course. We also got here the Aero Cooler 3. We're gonna set this one up with the Aero Cooler 3. There we go. Okay, so we got here the Aero Active Cooler 3 already. It's already capable, or it's compatible with the case that we're getting along with the smartphone. Just to give you an idea, so the ASUS ROG Phone 3 is one of the most powerful smartphones right now in the market. It comes with a Snapdragon 865 Plus processor. I really love that one. We got here the Classic Edition. This one comes with a 16 gigs of RAM. Yes, that is even bigger than your laptop probably. We also got here 512 gigs of internal storage, and of course, it's a gaming smartphone. Okay, so yeah, we also got here a 6.59-inch AMOLED display. We got here 144 Hz refresh rate, probably one of the best in the market right now, probably the best in the market right now. Again, we got here a triple lens camera at the back with a 64 megapixel main camera, 24 megapixel selfie camera. We got 5G in here. We got 6,000 milliamp hours of battery, and we also got here 30 watts quick charge 4.0. It's also running on Android 10 with ROG UI. So you've seen the smartphone. You can see here the smartphone. We're gonna close up on the smartphone. You can see here we got here the phone cam, and we also got here the X mode. Basically, you could see here that we can enable X mode for better performance. Of course, maximum fans and everything. We could control the RGB colors at the back and everything. We got here connect. Okay, start. So with ASUS ROG Connect, you could connect your other ASUS products on this one. Of course, we got here the featured games that can run 144 Hz. You can see here we got 144 Hz. We already got Lara Croft Go. We also got here Mortal Kombat for mobile, and there's a lot more applications. Okay, so we also got here Minecraft. So yeah, I guess it's time to proceed to our first game. So let's try playing a game on this smartphone, and let's try running GameBench, and let's see the median FPS and also the FPS stability that we can get on this smartphone. So our first game is actually Lara Croft Go, and yeah, you can see here that we got here everything: the CPU, GPU, the battery, the temps, and also it's running on 144 Hz, as you can see, 143 Hz or 144 Hz rather. So at this pop-up settings or whatever, or pop-up monitor, so we could set it up here at the Game Genie. You could also set up the air triggers. You could speed it up, macros. You could record videos. You can cancel alerts, the brightness, the real-time information. That is the real-time information, by the way. So yeah, I'm just running Lara Croft Go just to show you that the smartphone can really run at 144 frames per second. You see here, yes, it's dropping up to 142. Even GameBench, I believe, is having problems right now benchmarking this one. It doesn't record the right FPS on this one, so it's recording at 76 median frames per second. So we're not gonna validate this one. But yeah, you can see here that the real-time info, that's 144. Let's see here. Okay, so let's try playing the game. So the game isn't that popular, and you could see the FPS graph below that. Okay, so up down talaga siya. But yeah, this is running at 144 Hz. It's really smooth. It's one of the best gaming experience that I've seen on a smartphone. Probably the best gaming display that I've seen on a smartphone. And it's not that demanding sa CPU. Although the GPU is running at 80%. Later on, we're gonna try it out at Mortal Kombat. So let's see here. Okay, so hindi natin marerely yung FPS natin dito sa game na to, since you could see here that it's fluctuating. Okay, so it's fluctuating, but yeah, it's running on 144 Hz. Okay, you've seen the game. It's running at 144 frames per second. As you can see on the real-time monitoring at the top. But yeah, GameBench is recording it at 74 frames per second. So yeah, time to proceed to our next game, and let's not consider this one since this GameBench is, erratic at this game. So let's see. For our next game, it's Mortal Kombat. So as you can see here in the real-time info, it's already running at 144 frames per second. So we're gonna do a really short fight on this one. And let's start recording this one. And of course, dun sa fight. Okay, so we're running Mortal Kombat. And okay, it's weirdly same yung problem natin kanina. It's fluctuating from 68 to 104. But clearly on this one, it's running at 144 frames per second. But nakikita ko dito, it's dropping at 120 frames per second. So we're gonna switch to our phone cam. There we go. So you can't see this one running at 60 frames per second because of the limitations na meron tayo sa cam link. But you can see here the real-time info, 144, 143, and for some reason it's dropping at 120 frames per second in some cases. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so we've finished the game. You can see here it's 142 frames per second. There we go. So yeah, we've seen it's running on 144 frames per second. Unfortunately, GameBench is having problems running this one at 144 frames per second. Mamaya, if we're gonna play some games na nakalock naman up to 60 frames per second or 90, doon siguro makikita natin na yung ating GameBench. But so far, na-try na natin yung dalawang games sa may 144Hz display, 144Hz compatible with that display. And yeah, nakita naman natin na it's running at 144 FPS, so no problems at all. So let's proceed to our next game. So for our next 144Hz compatible game, it's Minecraft, and this one is quite demanding sa smartphone, surprisingly. So we're running it at 60 frames per second right now, pero you can see here that we can run it up to 144 FPS. I am not surprised with that one since Minecraft requires a lot of memory. I'm not sure if I think it's also CPU heavy kasi it needs to render a lot of blocks and it needs a lot of RAM para doon sa mga rendering niya na mga blocks. But yeah, you can see here we're running the game at 61 frames per second. You can see the real-time info at the top, at the upper right of the smartphone. And it's capable. It's very capable to run the game. And if you want, you could use the air triggers. Pero I wouldn't use the air triggers for this one. I'm already fine with the touchscreen display on this smartphone. So siguro if we're playing games like FPS games, maybe I would love to use that air triggers on the smartphone. But yeah, you can see here 66 frames per second, 71. It's fluctuating. We've tried it at GameBench. It's still fluctuating. Maybe there's really a problem when playing games na nasa 144 FPS on the GameBench. But yeah, already fine with this one, and yeah, very capable of 144 FPS, up to 144 FPS, but right now it's 60. So let's proceed to our next game, and we'll start playing games na naka FPS cap, and we'll probably run GameBench this time. So for our next game, we're gonna run NBA 2K20. It's already running at 120 FPS dito pa lang sa ating menu. So let's see here. So we're gonna set up the graphic settings at the highest possible settings dito sa NBA 2K20. So time to play the game, and let's see if we can get a comfortable FPS when running the game on the smartphone. Okay, so we're gonna start benchmarking this one on GameBench, and let's see. Okay, so right now it's still running at 120 FPS, although the median FPS that we're getting pa rin dito sa ating GameBench is still problematic and erratic. It's running at 57 median frames per second when it's clearly running at more than 100 frames per second on this one, and right now it's running at 113, 114. Okay, so it's dropping from 116 to 114. It hasn't even reached 120 so far for now. Okay, so that's 118, 119. I think it's we're close to 120 right now. But yeah, the game can run at 120 FPS if you want. So no problems at all. But the median frames per second right now on GameBench, again, is problematic. So we're gonna turn back to phone cam. There we go. So you could get a clearer look of the smartphone. So you can see here, there's a lot. It's a good graphics talaga dito sa NBA 2K20, and we're getting up to 118 FPS. The GPU is going up to 81%. The CPU is up to 50. It's not surprising since this one is really good pagdating sa graphics department niya. Okay, so magkakamera tayo ng close-up dito. And makikita nyo naman, okay, so it's running at 117 FPS, 118, 119, going down to 115. I think yung lowest na nakita ko is 111. So we can't do that much pagdating dito sa NBA 2K20 since the game is limited up to 120 FPS, and we can't run it really well on GameBench since nagkakamera siya ng problems, and it's running at 63 million FPS nga according dito. But for me, nakita ko yung NBA 2K20 dito. I'm really happy with this one. It can run games really well without problems at all. Now, let's proceed to our next game. For our next game, we're gonna run PUBG Mobile. So you can see here that the FPS is up to 61 because we've set the graphic settings at HDR settings with extreme frame rate. So we've also enabled anti-aliasing and the shadows. So there we go. So yeah, the smartphone can run the game really well, probably, since this one is running on 865 plus. I mean, the 855 plus didn't have a problem on this one, so I'm pretty sure that the 865 would be would not be problematic on this game. So let's try playing PUBG Mobile on Team Deathmatch on the ASUS ROG Phone 3. We've also set up the air triggers for this one. So okay, so we're gonna turn off first the speakers and everything. So you can see here that I can use the air triggers for aiming and the other one for shooting. Okay, so that's perfect. That is perfect. Okay, so right now we're not gonna use that one since there's a cable on this part. So let's see. Okay, so let's see if we could beat them. And oh, we forgot to run GameBench on this one. Okay, so we're gonna run GameBench, and let's see if we could have a big advantage on this one playing the game. Okay, so we're running it at... Okay, so it's still problematic. It's running at 23 median frames per second to 30. So I'm not sure why it's running at that FPS. So we're gonna turn it off. This is unreliable actually, so we're gonna switch to phone cam. Okay, so you could see here that the smartphone is running at 60 frames per second. You can see here the real-time info at the top. I mean, won't have any problems running this one. Maybe we wouldn't run GameBench on the ASUS ROG 40 since this one is problematic. Maybe it's not yet compatible yet for GameBench. But yeah, smooth 60 frames per second. No problems at all. We've plugged in the charger to our PC, and we're getting 40 degrees Celsius. So it's not that hot, but I can feel that the smartphone is a little bit hotter compared to the previous generation. But for me, it's not really a problem. We haven't used the Aeroactive cooler yet, so imagine if we can use the Aeroactive cooler, maybe we could get better temps on this smartphone. Okay, so it's better to have a trigger on this one. Unfortunately, we cannot use the trigger on this one because we got the cable over here. You can easily kill enemies with this one. I mean, my response to this one is faster compared to the touchscreen display. So it's better to use air triggers if you're playing games like this one, like PUBG Mobile. So you can see the touch response is really good. Okay. And so far, the FPS that we're getting is still at 60. I haven't experienced major frame drops on this one. Maybe 50, maybe 59, 58, but not a major frame drop on this one. We're still running it at 60 frames per second, and with the air triggers, I really have a big advantage compared to my enemies, as I can respond faster, and I could, you know, aim and okay, that was fast. I could aim and also change my aim. I mean, galawin ko siya, and also the triggers and everything. So this one is a big advantage compared to other smartphones so walang air triggers. Okay, tingnan pa natin. Let's see. Okay, medyo talo tayo doon. But yeah, you can see here that we got a big advantage when playing games like PUBG Mobile with the air trigger, and we can run the game at extreme frame rates at HDR graphics with anti-aliasing and shadows on. So maybe let's proceed to our next game. For our next game, it's Call of Duty Mobile. So you can see here that we've set it up at the highest possible settings, and unfortunately it's still not running well at the GameBench. So we're gonna try playing this game. So as you can see here, we got here good frame rates up to 60 FPS, and the CPU and GPU usage is 21 and 36 respectively, 40. So it's really not that demanding at all. We got 39 degrees Celsius for the temps. But yeah, so far so good. I don't think we will have a problem running this game on the smartphone. And yeah, okay, so we've seen a small frame drop up to 58, but no major frame drops on this one. So basically this won't be a problem at all, you know. So yeah, it's around 60. So as expected, this won't have any problems when playing the game. I mean, 865 plus, and also the chipset, the display and everything, it's really responsive. We got air triggers. We got a bigger advantage compared to other smartphone users on this one. Okay, so we've been killed again, but yeah, the FPS is still at 60. Still no problems at all. No problems at all, boys. Okay, let's see. Let's use some drone. You can see the FPS here, 60 FPS, and the CPU, GPU usage and everything. So far so good. 39 degrees Celsius. Everything is quite fine. It's mighty fine. You've seen that we got a big advantage because of the air triggers. I could kill enemies easily and faster, like this one. There we go. Would have a better response compared to touchscreen displays, but I still got killed by those two guys. Okay, we're getting 40 degrees Celsius on this one, and the FPS is still at 60. 60 FPS at all, no problems. Pretty happy with this one. Really happy with this one. Really happy with Call of Duty Mobile on the ROG Phone 3. And again, we're running this one at the classic ROG Phone 3 with 12 gigs of RAM and 865 plus CPU as CPU. So let's proceed to our last game. For our last game, it's Black Desert Mobile, one of the most demanding smartphone MMOs right now at the Play Store. So we've set up the graphics settings at the highest settings possible. We got high texture, high effects, max frame limit, which is 45 FPS, which is what we're getting right now. So you can see here in our camera, in our phone cam, it's 45 FPS over here. So yeah, this one can run the game without any problems at all. So you can see here the graphics and everything, the details are just smooth, and the FPS is still at 45 FPS. I mean, look at that. Look at those details. Look at those details, guys. Okay, so let's try killing in some gray fox, and let's see if there will be some drops on the frames. Okay, so we're getting down to 44, 45. So yeah, it's not really a frame drops for the smartphone. So yeah, no problems at all. No problems at all when running the game. I'm quite happy with this one. Really happy actually with what we're getting on the smartphone. Okay, so actually let's get out of here. And you've seen that the NPCs do a little difference when it comes to the FPS. Let's see if we go to the town or to the NPCs, if you could see some difference when playing the game. Okay, so we're still getting 45 median frames per second, frames per second rather. And yeah, we got here a lot of NPCs, a lot of things that are burning. So when we zoom in to this one, it gives more details to the character, and of course there's the background and everything, the light effects. So yeah, it does affect the FPS on some smartphones, but for the ROG Phone 3, we can see here that it's still running at 45 frames per second with 18% CPU and also 68% GPU. So it's not that much, and the 865 Plus of the smartphone can handle the game really well. So yeah, there's nothing much to see on this one aside from that the smartphone can run the game really well and without problems. So yeah, I guess that's it for the Black Desert Mobile. So let's do a verdict of what we have seen earlier on these games. So the ASUS ROG Phone 3 is an exciting smartphone. It's a very powerful smartphone, 865 Plus, 12 gigs of RAM, or 16 gigs of RAM rather, for the classic edition. And of course we got here 144 Hz display. You can see here I'm still running Black Desert Mobile. It's a little bit, well, it's warm compared to the previous generation, but I'm still happy with the FPS that we're getting. Earlier we've played Lara Croft Go, we've played Minecraft, we've also played Mortal Kombat, and we've seen that the smartphone ran 144 frames per second. No problems, no sweats, no lags, all good. 144 FPS. So aside from that, we also got here the Armory Crate application, which houses the console, the Connect, the featured and everything, so you could control everything that's related to gaming, RGB and everything on the ASUS ROG Phone 3. We also got here the featured applications that supports 144 FPS, so that's nice. And if you want to try out the 144 Hz or 144 FPS games on the smartphone, just go to the Armory Crate and go for the featured. You can check 144 Hz, 120 Hz twin view gamepad. So yeah, we do got here a lot of smartphones that supports twin view display. We got your gamepad and everything. So yeah, it's really nice to have that feature on the smartphone. And of course, we've also tried PUBG Mobile, Call of Duty Mobile, NBA 2K20, and also Black Desert Mobile. For NBA 2K20, we were really happy to see that the smartphone ran at 120 frames per second. For Black Desert Online, for Black Desert Mobile rather, it ran at 45 frames per second at the highest settings possible, and it doesn't sweat despite having a lot of light effects on the fighting and everything. So I'm really happy with Black Desert Mobile on the smartphone. And of course, we've run Call of Duty Mobile and also PUBG Mobile at the highest settings possible, and we ran the game at 60 frames per second, and again, no problems at all. Basically, the smartphone can run really well when it comes to gaming, and the 865 Plus is a really powerful processor. I think what set this smartphone apart from other smartphones with the 865 Plus chipset is that this one supports different accessories. We got air triggers on this one that is built in on the smartphone. We got here I can see the Aeroactive, oh there we go, we got here the Aeroactive cooler that lets you cool down the smartphone. Fortunately, we didn't use that one because I wasn't able to use GameBench with this one. But yeah, if you want to cool down your smartphone, you could use the Aeroactive cooler. It also supports the 3.5mm headphone jack, and also you can charge the smartphone while playing games and without having the problems, of heating up or overheating the smartphone. So it's a really cool accessory. We also got here the Kunai gamepad. I don't have that one. Twin view. We got air triggers and everything. So it's really cool that we have those features on the smartphone. And I think that is the features that set this one apart compared to other flagship smartphones. This one is also quite affordable. So this one starts at $39,995. We got 865 for that one. We got 5G. We got 144 Hz display. Everything that you need on the ASUS ROG Phone 3. So yeah, I guess that's it for a gaming review of the ASUS ROG Phone 3. So if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, well, now is the time to subscribe. So once again, I'm Jam of jamonline.ph. Thank you for watching, and see you guys again on my next video.